Welcome to the Planeswalker Project.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today? So, I was gonna do another type of video, but, you know, things got a little rough last night. It was a bad night, and I felt I wanted to do something a little more relaxed today, a little bit less intense. I actually got this off of Card Kingdom, like, almost a month ago now, and I really wanted to, you know, look into it and look at it with you guys. When I first got into Magic, like a billion years ago, the deck I actually picked up, my first deck ever, was the Heavy Hitters deck. And I wanted to, I guess, take a trip down memory lane with you guys and take a see what it looks like. Alright, so I'd already opened it and looked through it a bit, but, you know, it's the same stuff. Check out that white border. Ooh, I know people don't like the white border whatsoever. There's a lot of people who actually dislike using any sort of white bordered card, whether they're from like the 8th edition or what. Alright, hope that's focusing. Okay. So, you know, Rod of Ruin, little artifact pinger. This deck really didn't have a whole lot of like ways to remove creatures. You know, it was green, so it had a lot of ways to like get rid of, you know, enchantments and such, but not a whole lot of creature damage. So I guess this was their way of handling it. Lure, nice little taunting elf ability. So this is back when enchant creatures were a thing. This was before they made them into just auras. Nice little way to get your damage through. Get one creature to be blocked and everything else does not have to be blocked. Another card I actually really wasn't super big on. Wing Snare gets rid of a target creature with flying, but, you know, not a lot of creatures have flying if you're not playing against like a blue or white deck. Perhaps one of my favorite cards, and it's something I use to this day even, Rampant Growth. It's one of probably my favorite turn 2 plays in Commander. This deck was obviously not a Commander deck. It was only a 40 card theme deck. There weren't even intro pack. You got 2. It's pretty sweet. Naturalize, classic artifact or enchantment removal. It's really cool. Giant Growth, got 2 of them. This is actually my favorite artwork of Giant Growth, just because it's like a little giant mouse now. And then my absolute favorite card in all of Magic was Rocks. This was actually my first like good creature, I guess you could say. At least to me it was good. I know there's obviously a lot better, but I really love the mechanic this thing has, the super trample. So even if it gets blocked, you can still say, hey, you're taking 5 damage. And it's got regeneration, so, you know, pretty cool. The other rare creature of this deck was Primeval Force. This one actually I really didn't like at the time, because I didn't really like that you had to sack 3 forests, but for an 8/8 for 5 mana, I mean, it's green, so you're able to ramp back into that. Llanowar Behemoth, really nice for token decks. If this thing does manage to get through unblocked, you just tap everything else, and hey, look, it's gigantic. This thing also combined with Lure, put Lure on something tiny, and then tap everything, so that way Llanowar Behemoth becomes huge. Spined Worm, one of my favorite worm creatures. I believe there are 2. Yes, 2. This was always one of my favorite like upper curve cards because it was a 5/4 for 5 mana, and I don't know, just the worms just seemed so cool. I really can't wait to go back to Dominaria thinking they might have more. Nantuko Disciple is actually, I feel bad because I really don't like this card, and there's only one in this deck. I didn't like it because it's a 4 mana 2/2, and its ability it's a weaker Giant Growth. I guess this could be useful in like a combat trick scenario, but I don't like it. Maybe it's because it's a bug and I don't like bugs. Hunted Wumpus, you get 2 of them. Another card, I really overvalued this back in the day because I was like, alright, it's a 4 mana 6/6, and yeah, your opponent gets a creature, but your creature's bigger because it's a 6/6. Wood Elves, another Commander staple in a lot of my green decks. Because it says just a forest card, it doesn't specify whether it has to be a basic land or not. You have the ability to go for like dual lands, you have the ability to go for like Dryad Arbor, as long as it says forest somewhere in that that typing area. Pretty cool. Got 2 of them. My other favorite, this is probably why I like wolves so much, was because of Lone Wolf. It's another one of the super tramples. It's a 2/2 for 3, which it's not the worst, but I really like this. And honestly, I have been working for a long time on a wolf tribal deck. Not werewolf, wolf. It's not going very well, obviously, but, you know, one day we'll get there. Finehorn Elder, kind of like a powered up version of like Llanowar Elf. It's a 1/1 for 3, which not really the best stats, but that tap to add 2 green mana to your mana pool is pretty awesome. Really like this one. And then, funny story with Elvish Pioneer. I used to think this was so much better than Llanowar Elves back in the day because you got the extra basic land. And I guess you could argue that, yeah, there are instances where this would be better than Llanowar Elves, because, yeah, you can get that Llanowar Elf pinged off pretty easily, whereas Elvish Pioneer, you get the land in play, and the land is, for the most part, safe, unless your opponent's playing land destruction, like a meanie. 2 of them. And now, for the John Avon arts. Like, these, I always loved his arts for the forest, like, I actually still have a lot of these forests floating around. I think they're in my Pauper Elf deck, just because I just love how they look. It's so, some of them are just so photorealistic that it's like this one's my favorite of them. I don't know if my camera will pick it up. My camera's lighting's a little weird today, so I'm sorry if the image quality is. But I love the artwork that he does, and I believe he does the ones for the unsets, so I'm really looking forward to that. But I love these artworks. Alright, so we're back to it. But yeah, these were 40 card decks. The goal of the heavy hitters deck was you were wanting to get big creatures out and then start smacking your opponent with a lot of huge creatures, and it had the mana ramp. Oop, camera shake. It had like the mana ramp, so I'm terrible with this camera, I'm so sorry. It had a lot of mana ramps, so you were able to get out those creatures. You had those, you had the Wood Elves, we had the Elvish Pioneers, and so you could ramp up to get all your lands out, so that way, you know, when Primeval Force comes into play, it doesn't really hurt you too much. But yeah, because I've been wanting one of these to like keep together as sort of like a sentimental thing for the longest time. And it was so hard to like find one that was intact and like able to buy. And it never occurred to me that some online stores like Card Kingdom would actually have these. Like these old intro decks. Like it's such a cool thing to like look back at something that is the entirety of the reason I'm still in this game to this day. And I really like that I was able to get a hold of one of these things.